Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and company will play out the stretch against a guy who has done anything but given his all
a hairline like mine
in D.C., and that would not be Shaq singing. That's Bradley Beal singing better tunes on the court with his actions so far. But what's to come and who's on set with us? All right now, don't move.
The man who is 41 years of age.
And Vince Carter comes in. Carter.
Oh, Vince.
Turn back the hands of time.
Carter from about 30 feet away.
Vince dumps it for 25,000.
Vince Sanity, half man, half amazing.
Welcome inside our studios. It is the Auto Trader pregame, getting you ready for a doubleheader, which does include the Rockets and Thunder coming up, setting up playoff positioning. Casey Stern, Shaq, Candace, welcome Vince Carter.
Ooh.
Cut it out. You hating from all the way.
You know why? Because he's my neighbor in Orlando. I never see him. He lives in my city of Atlanta. I never see him. I don't want to see him now.
So you're going to turn that way?
Yep. I'm going to do the whole
Tell us
broadcast.
how you really feel. Well, I'm happy you're here.
Well, since you can hear me, it's good to see you.
I'm just happy Shaq's here. You got here 9 seconds ago, so it's good that he's here.
He's on time.
He's on time.
Hi, Shaq.
He really is going to
Should we
face.
continue?
So are you really going to face the whole?
This is called accelerating your game on TV.
You can't.
He used to be my favorite player. Now
Let's go to accelerating your game by Auto Trader.
We're in the same fraternity, everything.
You probably should save this.
Hop together. We don't do nothing.
If Dr. Phil is watching, we need some help on set. Dwayne Wade, we know this will be it. We'll talk about that a lot tonight. Dirk, we seem to think so, not sure. And then there's this question mark, or a set of three, and here's a tweet. Is Vince coming back next year? I need to ride to Atlanta tomorrow to see the GOAT's last game. Well, VC, you tell us.
Tell them they have time. They can't make it.
What's that?
They have time.
I like.
They got time?
You can't make it tonight.
Yeah?
It's always time.
This
Next
time.
year.
This next year.
Yeah.
But you
Official.
are coming back.
I would like to, yes.
I'm telling you now, if you come back to the Hawks and I don't see you, right at your feet when I see you coming out CVS. Right at your feet.
Randomly. With your icy hot. And a patch that says the General on it on the other side. Yeah, make sure we.
And a Papa John's pizza.
And a Papa John's pizza.
Yeah.
And a Krispy Kreme.
And a
from 7-Eleven.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't have that.
Are we done now?
And JBL.
Okay.
I might need a few of those.
And Fruity Pebbles.
Are we really just doing this?
Fruity Pebbles?
We're doing all of your sponsors.
You really have involvement in Fruity Pebbles? I didn't know.
Of course.
Okay. I like Fruity Pebbles. We have a couple of careers that we know seemingly will end. One we know for sure. Let's start with a big night for D. Wade. And I thought everybody has really paid this great respect to him. The Bud commercial, the Bud 3 commercial, is just amazing for those who have not seen that. Competing against him, can you try and put into words what he's meant to the game?
Man, he's done so many great things. I mean, I think everybody's so honored, to have played against him, and I obviously know him. I don't know him as well as the guy on the other end of the table, but I've had a lot of battles with him, and just talking with him, going against him, you know that when you step on the court against him, you have to bring your A+ game. And I've had many battles with him, and we talked the first preseason game, kind of reminiscing, and as we went on through the season and to our last game, just remembering the good times. And I tell you what, he's one of the best two guards to ever play this game.
Candace, I know how much it's important to you personally, knowing you to be more than just about basketball and the imprint that you leave on people and kids. And that's really been what has been D. Wade off the floor, as much as we talk about what he's done on it.
Well, you mentioned the commercial earlier, and it was just everybody talking about D. Wade the person. I mean, we all know what he's done in between the lines, how many championships he's won, arguably one of the best two guards to ever play the game of basketball. But off the court, just who he's impacted, the type of person he is. I mean, personal story for me, I was a D. Wade fan. I'm from Illinois, have followed his career, and I remember seeing him at the ESPYs and being like, hey, D. Wade, I love your sidekick. The D. Wade sidekick. I know everybody had the D. Wade sidekick, but I'm a college student. The next day at my door, a D. Wade sidekick. So it's just, he's just a giver, and he's been about that. He's been about basketball, and it's great to see that he's had this tour.
Shaq, you've watched him grow as a player and a person. I mean, you're the one who gave him Flash. How about D. Wade?
I found out about D-Wade by accident, believe it or not. I was the type of player I never paid attention to other players, so right before the playoffs started, Miami Heat was playing Charlotte. I was like, damn, this kid's nice. And I just kept watching him. So when it came time for me to be traded, knowing that I couldn't do it by myself, I needed a Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant type player. I went upstairs and said, okay, I'll let you trade me, but I'm going to play with D-Wade. When I got there, we had a conversation. I said, I know there's a lot of conversation about what went on with me and the last guy. That could never happen with me and you. I'm going to help you. You're going to help me. And he just emerged as a great player. And then we had our first argument during the finals. Because I wasn't having a great finals, and everybody was looking for me. And I was like, why y'all looking for me? Do something. Because they was doubling and tripling me. I was like, D-Wade, what you going to do? And he just took off, finals MVP. And from that point on, he just, emerged as probably one of the best two guards to ever play the game.
Yeah, I love, we don't see in ages of free agency in sports, the relationships that like the Cal Ripken had in like Baltimore, and you met a late Tony Gwynn in San Diego. For me as a kid growing up watching baseball, to know what he had in Miami coming back there, a great story. Dirk, Vince, he doesn't seem to want to admit, like the NBA's putting out, hey, it's Dirk's last game. He has not said anything.
Yeah, he has everybody in limbo, like, what is he going to do? I've tried. But
Is he hurt right now?
That's Dirk Walk there, buddy.
Oh, okay.
That's just it. That's it. But it's just great. He deserves to be honored. If it is his last, unbelievable career, great teammate as well. We'll just have to wait and see.
For me, I remember going out in my driveway at open gym trying to do the Dirk fadeaway with the one leg.
Yes.
And he was that international player. I was a four player that wanted to step away from the basket.
Right.
And he really was a first of his kind that he was better almost away from the basket than inside. And he got to that point where if he got the ball at the elbow, it was you just hope that he missed. And I think he really grew the development of where the NBA is now, where now we have more stretch fours, hand on the ball like Kevin Durant's and Giannis Antetokounmpo's.
You and I we've had great moments this season on the court. We were doing the Clipper-Maverick game where Doc grabbed the mic, nobody knew what was going to happen, and stopped the game so that everybody in the arena and the players on the floor and the benches could give their love to Dirk. That told you how much respect everybody's got for Dirk. So Wade, on his way out, Dirk, we're not sure. We know this after this first game, which has tons of implications, right, Candace?
Oh, it's huge.
It's the Rockets and the Thunder coming up later on tonight. Double dip. We continue Auto Trader tip-off. The playoffs are coming. It all begins this Sunday on TNT. We know the matchup for the Celtics. They'll get the Pacers. Much else is TBD. We were talking about this on set. We got literally 30 seconds, but we all agree in this group, the Nets, especially if they match up with Philly, a little bit more dangerous, Vince, than people
dangerous.
think?
They're very confident bunch right now, so they're dangerous and must watch.
Candace?
Yeah, I'd agree. The Nets are that playoff series is going to be very fun and exciting to see how Philly handles in the first round.
They're a very scary team. I don't think anybody should want to face them in the first round.
I would agree with that. I think they're the dangerous pick. Who will be Cinderella? This game's got tons of playoff implications for you.
It is game time. You are now rocking with the best. Roe Parrish on your screen, along with David Griffin, whose basketball acumen is second to none. A champion was crowned at the amateur level. Still a ways to go before we crown one on the pro level. However, we're about to sort everything out, especially got to start in the Eastern Conference because things are a little jumbled trying to get that last 8th seed.
Yeah, to some degree, this has been a battle of who wants it least between these three teams. Charlotte on a tear, 7-3 their last 10, 3 straight wins. They're playing at the highest level of these three teams right now. James Borrego's done an exceptional job with this group.
James Borrego's done a great job. Look at their schedule over the next couple of games. They're going to play the Cavs and the Magic, who have already secured a spot in the playoffs. Just looking at Charlotte, the miraculous victories that they've had, 2 over the Raptors, Jeremy Lamb hitting game winners in both of those, Kemba Walker playing out of his mind. Looking at the Hornets, and of course we know it's the 8th seed, so you'll probably end up getting fed to the Milwaukee Bucks. However, what can they take from this if they do make the playoffs?
Well, I think of those three teams, Kemba might be the most terrifying individual weapon that Milwaukee would have to try to find a way to neutralize because he can get white hot. he can get the kind of hot that there's not a whole lot you do about. Now, again, because he's smaller, playing against a team with Milwaukee's length and athleticism defensively, may not be a great matchup. But again, once he's really rolling, there's not a lot you can do to put the genie back in the bottle. So I think if you're Milwaukee, that's the team you might least want to see of those three teams just because of that.
You mentioned the phrase white hot. We all know that D. Wade and the Miami Heat have been white hot over the years. He's been a player that can definitely catch fire, especially in the postseason. Doesn't look good so far for him and the Miami Heat to make the playoffs. Right now, they will have to have a lot of help and get victories. What's your assessment of the Miami Heat and D. Wade on his way out?
Well, first of all, I think we all were done a huge disservice when he wasn't able to get the ball on the inbounds play the other day.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It would have been fun to watch him get to have another potential signature moment there. What I think's happened with that team is they really were overachieving to a huge degree. Despite the fact that they had a great number of injuries, they were showing up, they were competing at a really high level every night. They've fallen off in these last 10 games. I almost feel like there's been so much energy and emotion caught up in Dwayne's farewell that they may not have been ignoring the noise quite as well as they could have on the way home.
So some things probably have to happen for them to get in. Looking at D. Wade right now, I'll ask you real quick, over and under, his last game is going to be at Barclays Center, over or under 28 points? What do you think, just off the top?
I'm going to take the under, but not for a lack of trying. I think in moments like these, I remember in Phoenix when we had Dan Marley's last game, and all the crowd wanted to see was Thunder make one more three. It took him 9 attempts to get there. I think Dwayne's going to be filled with so much emotion. He may be a little overhyped in this game.
He's never scored 30 at Barclays. We'll see what happens. 28, he's done that twice now. As Dwayne Wade approaches his final regular season game, he reflects on the people and the images that meant most to him during his amazing career.
I first look at this and see my son, and I'll be like, wow. He's 17 now, but just remembering this day, after getting drafted and everything, and before this photo was taken, I got a chance to meet Riley. I remember he brought me like this big book of like all the plays and said, learn this by tomorrow. And getting here to the pros and having Coach Riley, it was a perfect way for me. I was a young guy coming into a world that I had no idea about, and he put my focus on basketball. He always pushed me to be more and to give more and to be greater. And I needed that Pat Riley handprint. For me, this was so cool to be drafted with best college player at the time, Carmelo, and best high school player at the time. It helped me so much because it pushed me. It gave me something else to reach for. I wasn't in these photos in the beginning. It was just these two. Obviously, these are two of my best friends, and connected to these guys forever. But when I was in this photo, I have arrived. I got that opportunity my rookie year to go to the playoffs and establish what I was made of and who I was going to be. And I just remember thinking how much more work I needed to do because I wanted to be better and greater in that moment. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this photo. We've seen other people have these iconic photos, and we was like, yo, we got to get an iconic photo with the trophy. So this photo was staged by Shaq and myself. Winning my first championship, it was just an unbelievable moment. I think I understood at this time that this wasn't something that just happened every year. I always say my career would not be where it is if I didn't have him come in at that critical time. And he expressed that this was my team, that he was coming down here to help me become one of the best players in this game. I took that to heart because I knew what his career was about. His career was about competing for championships. The Big Three era, amazing era for Miami Heat. When I look at this photo, what I see something of legend. We didn't really talk about scoring titles and covers of magazines and all the things that we ended up doing. We just talked about winning the championship. It took some sacrifice to do that, but ultimately we achieved our goal. Playing basketball with those guys was amazing, but I think the relationship that we built away from the game was special. It changed everything for me, for Brian, for Chris, for this organization. It put us in a different light. We was able to go to finals 4 years in a row and win 2 of them, and it was hard. But I think, we all learned something about ourselves. It's a good photo. It's a good shot. But it's just an embrace with my mom. This is our relationship, We just, we have a lot of love for each other. And just an embrace and a thank you. being a little boy, your mom is the world. She's everything. And the relationship that me and my mom built early on in my life was always her letting me know and telling me that my life was bigger than basketball. And then she knew I wanted to play, but I used to also tell her, Mom, I want to do something else too. I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a police officer, whatever I wanted to be at the time. But, I just always wanted to make her proud. So far, during this last season, this is probably one of the most emotional moments for me. It was one of those moments of realizing that it's almost over. You know what I mean? Like, this is the last time we're going to compete against each other. And I love competing against this guy. A good friend of mine and one of the greatest to ever play the game. What I remember most about my NBA career, I don't think it's one memory. I couldn't have predicted the career that I've had, the places I've been, the people I've been able to meet along the way, and the joy that I felt throughout this game. And the hurt and the pain that I felt throughout this game. I could never have predicted it. I'm thankful for being able to go on this ride. This whole journey has been special.
Excellent watching that right there. D-Wade, a magnificent career. When you think about D-Wade, what was the signature move or thing that you remember watching him play, of course, against your teams on a number of occasions, going up against LeBron? Yeah,
for me, the thing that I think about in Dwayne's career, and this is going back to when he was first drafted, I was with the Phoenix Suns at the time. That team that won a title for Miami with he and Shaq together, they had no ability whatsoever to keep up with our 7 seconds or less Suns. They wanted no piece of us. Pat Riley was very vocal about wanting no piece of us. They had lost us 2 times by 30 points each. And that team goes on to win a title in large part because Dwayne went from where he was as a young player to where he became as a champion. He took a quantum leap once he got in the league, became the consummate winner. And the thing that I think about relative to Miami and Dwayne more than anything else, this was a freak of nature shot blocker from the 2-guard position. His ability to be a defensive playmaker and steals and blocks without fouling really sort of changed the nature of the game. And actually, as quiet as it's kept, as much as people like to talk about Steph Curry revolutionizing the game, Dwayne's ability to do those things, to get steals and blocks without fouling, really changed the nature of defense in this league.
Surpassed Michael Jordan early this season for the best shooting guard or guard ever to block shots in the NBA. Now you move to another champion in Dirk Nowitzki, who hasn't announced he's going to retire yet. However, his last home game is going to be played. You can see both Dirk and D-Wade right here on this network. When you look at Dirk in his career, he's had so many great moments, an MVP, finals MVP. Again, right here against the Phoenix Suns, what's remarkable to you about Dirk's career?
Well, I think more than anything else, when you look at Dirk, like Dwayne, this was a trailblazer. This is somebody who changed the nature of the NBA forever. When he came into the league, he was essentially a spacing 5 before there was such a thing. They didn't know where to play him. People didn't know who to guard him with. He was the most impossible matchup in the Western Conference for several years. And people really didn't understand what he was doing for the game, both here in the NBA, but internationally as well. He changed everything.
He definitely changed the game. Don't change the channel because you'll be able to see both of those gentlemen on our air. But on Wednesday, it is crunch time. 3 hours on the final night of the regular season. All the playoff seedings will be decided and finalized, and you can check it out on this network. Tobias Harris, he is going to be in the playoffs. He's been a key to their late playoff push. Don't go anywhere. You're going to see him right here on this screen coming up on Game Time.